Welcome to the podcast for your spiritual growth. Evolve,
align,
and embrace. I'm Alex.
And I am Sophia.
Let's start.
So nice that you clicked in. Today it's just gonna be me without Sophia and my guest Maria Holzschneider. We're talking about her Lotus birth of her firstborn and about her intuitive way of living. This may give you a little bit of insights about alternatives in life. You may hear a little bit of baby noises in the background. That's her daughter Lilia. And also I really want to ask you this time to make sure that you right now, that you listen to the podcast, are in a space of respect and open-heartedness, and just honor the fact that Maria is sharing her personal, individual, and very private story about her birth. Thank you so much, and let's start. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Evolve, Align, and Embrace.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. Let's see how it works with Lilia around. Hello.
Hi.
So today we want to talk about something different, but that really stands for intuitive thinking or an intuitive way of going through life. And it's a really, really lovely example of doing that. And here is Maria, who is very intuitive and is always really looking inward a lot before she goes the next step. That's at least how I see it and how I can put it into words. And we want to talk about the birth today. Maybe you want to say something about you that people would maybe want to know before we get into it about you.
Thank you very much for having me. This is my child. Yeah. She also likes to introduce herself.
Of course.
Yeah, my name is Maria and I live in Ibiza. I'm from Germany. Yeah, there are some brave moments in life that took me to this island. However, yeah, I'm trained in dance and worked as a professional dancer 7 years, and I also went on the spiritual path after having some experience in my life in 2012, and since then I'm working with energy and listening to my innermost self and observe what is truly happening. What is the path, the soul path that feels right to me, and what I'm conditioned by. Oh, nine. This is the plug. We don't discover the plug. Well, nein, Lilia, das ist Strom.
So one can say, if we say conditioned, I don't know if everybody's if everybody can relate to that word. You could say that sometimes you grow up thinking life has to go that way, and because everybody goes that way, or you think this is normal, this is not normal, and you cannot really distinguish anymore between how you should live your life and how you want to live your life. And sometimes people realize that they're living an idea. Maybe you can say condition, that you live an idea of that was put in your head at some time in your life, and you may decide to rethink that idea about how you want to do it?
Yeah, just like put from the field, like Spanish people eat pan con aioli. Everybody eats bread with aioli, and and that's for example just a simple way of thinking. Like this is in the field. Everybody eats bread with aioli, and it doesn't matter if your body is reacting like if it's nice for you to have so much garlic or not, or mayonnaise or whatever. Yeah, so I still believe in my belief everybody is different.
Even
And,
every Spanish body.
Every Spanish body as well. And exactly, so maybe you can describe it like this. So maybe sometimes there's something else that your body would prefer
No
in
matter
order to be healthy, and depending on what you want, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So since 2012 you went on your spiritual path, and you realized about you came across the things that you were conditioned to be and who you want to be, and evolved out or through that until today.
Whenever I come to this point of, okay, well, here's an intersection. Either I go this way and I follow somebody else's vision, or I really choose for my inner feeling. It was just a feeling always for me. So I always chose that path to follow my soul and my vision and my feeling, my good feeling. Yeah.
A lotus birth is something I've never heard about until I heard that you did that, and I just thought this is so cool and so interesting, because it really does have a lot of old wisdom and knowledge inside of it that maybe really has been forgotten and got lost in the world of Western medicine. And so then after all this spontaneous intersections and going from here to there through life, you were pregnant and you decided to have a lotus birth. How did you in your pregnancy decide to do that? Like, when did that feeling come up, that you said that usually leads you through your intersections and through life?
So first of all, for me, it was the question, like, where do I stay or where do I live? Because my family was really like, okay, so now you're pregnant, so you come back home, right? What do you want to do? What do you want to do somewhere else when you're pregnant? And it could make sense in a rational mind. Because I didn't have anybody here and I didn't have a place, and it was really all a little bit messy, and I separated also the father of Lilia, and it's a different story. So I decided to stay here no matter what, and stayed in Airbnbs, and I was also, there were moments where I felt like, well, what am I doing here? What is going on? Like, I don't even know why I should be here. What is this all for? Yeah, and then I met a person who knew a midwife and connected me to her, and she immediately she greeted me with a book, pretty much, Placenta, the Forgotten Chakra, it's called. Yeah, she also likes to say something to it. She wants to tell the story.
Right? And did you ever hear about that before?
No, and also not about the lotus birth. I didn't know that. No, it was just with this topic of being pregnant. it came into my life. And that's also how I usually, whenever I need an information or it's present, then I'm provided by life with this information when I trust and when I intuitively choose what's right and wrong.
So
there's no right and wrong. So that's how I got to know about it, and then I took my time, and I didn't feel safe at all when I met her. I didn't even have a place yet. So I was still looking for a nest, because when you're pregnant, you want a nest, you want a place where you can root, where you can grow your family, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so first I thought I'd go to the hospital, and then she opened that topic up, and I was like, oh, okay, wow. And she was very enthusiastic about it, and I could feel that some remembrance also were inside of me, like, wow, okay, what is this about? And there are all these different rituals also what you do with the placenta. Some dig them in the ground, in the soil, or others eat a piece, or all these kind of things. And she was really enthusiastic about soft landing of children that come to earth, and how cutting the cord is actually painful also, not necessarily maybe physically, but
can you just explain in a couple of sentences what is a lotus birth actually?
Yeah, so a lotus birth is talking about cutting the cord. That means that the placenta stays connected to the baby until the cord dries off by itself, and is then fully ready to let go of the placenta, which is, it's a consciousness. It actually holds the same information in the baby, so it really is a part of the baby. She just opened the door. To me, it looked a little bit and felt also like a brain, so many nerves, and the placenta is in charge of your baby pretty much. She knows exactly when your baby needs what mineral, what vitamin, and she filters everything that you eat, so it doesn't just go through to the baby. No. She's like a mother inside of the mother. That's how I like to see it. And she's really she's a brain, she's a consciousness, she has to know, so yeah, it's incredible for me when I started reading about it. It makes so much sense that we honor this piece of us. I mean, it's the mother's and the baby's organ, and not just treat it like rubbish, as in hospitals sometimes it's like, oh yeah, and we say after birth, I don't know.
Yes.
After birth, how
I'll look it up, but yeah, usually, normally we know is that when you give birth to your child, the second the child is out of your body, I think then right away the cord gets cut, and then we wait for the afterbirth to be birthed, and then it gets thrown away or put away by the doctors or the midwives, right? What do you know about
I don't think so. I'm not sure if the cord gets, not sure. I'm really not sure how
It gets cut off.
I want to say a normal birth because it's so in the field, but no, it's because this other birth, how that works, I don't know. If you birth her before and then cut the cord, or if you do it right away, I don't know. Yes. What I do know is that it was really hard to find a hospital that does this kind of birth. So here in Ibiza, where I'm at, there's no place that do it. They say, yeah, you can bring a bowl and then we can give you a piece of it. So they don't give you your organ, which I was like very like, what? When my fire came out, I felt like, no way,
that's my organ. Like, why would you make decisions?
Yeah, you cannot just, and I figured out also the placenta is also used in the beauty industry. So creams are made of placenta, and there's so many information. It's incredible, really. I have done it. So I have done it at home in my garden. I gave birth. However, I will talk about that later, I think. And yeah, I have a tincture. I made an oil by myself with a piece of the placenta, and I also dried it and made little capsules. And so just a little.
So you just
say again?
The whole placenta did not get taken away, that you could keep the whole placenta after your birth.
Yes, so I kept the whole placenta after giving birth. My midwife was really, she was actually the one who gave me all this wisdom, who knew about it. And as soon as she was born and she started touching the placenta, she would start crying.
So your midwife would placenta and your baby would be crying.
She was crying. Yes, exactly. Lilia was crying. That's my baby, and Christina is the midwife. She started touching it, and she immediately said, "Yes, I know. I touch your placenta. I know." And I remembered all this, what I thought, what I read about, and what I kind of prepared myself for. I mean, after 36 hours of giving birth, I wasn't really like, oh, now I have to do this. Yeah. But then I felt like, wow, yeah, true. And then I immediately put my hand over the placenta to kind of protect it. It was really like, oh yeah, wait, don't touch it now. And then I was really like, and then, okay. And then I first kind of had a moment also internally with the placenta, just giving her the feeling, yeah, you have a space here too, and you're important too. You are also a part of me and us, and thank you. I just said thank you, I think, and yeah, and then she washed her, and
so your midwife washed the placenta?
Yes. I wasn't really able to do a lot anymore. I put just the flowers in the end. So she washed it, and she also cut pieces for making globules, and also to eat. I ate little tiny pieces in the next coming 3 or 4 days, I think, so which gives you
right away after giving birth.
Yeah? Yes, when she was fresh, when she's fully like fresh, and then we put a piece in alcohol, a piece in oil, and I realized now, but we put it in alcohol and in the fridge.
Sorry, with the connection, so one piece in alcohol, a piece in oil, and
one piece to eat.
Yeah.
And one piece globally for the pharmacy. The pharmacy made globally for it, and also a tincture the pharmacy did. Yeah, the one in oil is not really this. I have to improve or the next baby. Let's see. It's not really good anymore, so I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really stay fresh in it, so it got very stinky. So I will probably throw this oil.
So it was oil to put on your skin and to put on Lilia's skin, or to eat.
Yeah. No, to put on outside skin, and I did a tincture for internal use. Yeah, and I collected before. But wait, let's stay in this afterbirth moment. So yeah, so first she washed it, cut pieces of it. She asked me what piece she's allowed to take, and I would just point the finger, and it was just little tiny pieces.
And while she was still connected to the placenta, right?
She was 2.5 days connected to her. Yes, to the placenta. And then we put arcilla blanca, which is Kieselerde in German. I don't know what this is in English. So this is the white powder. It's a white earth, kind of. It's clay. I know it's clay.
Yeah,
so
or silica.
White clay. Yeah, or silica. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, silica. Silica. You put around. And then you put a lot of salt to make it a little bit more lasting. And then I picked a lot of flowers before birth. I really prepared for it like a ritual. Because of course then you're at home in the garden and it's like, wow, okay, I have to do it. And it was really beautiful. I collected some flowers and I put some essential oils and then all mixed it together in this beautiful moment. And then this I put around the placenta so that it doesn't smell, and all in a basket in a little
pieces.
Say again?
Did you put all that around the whole placenta or just around the pieces you cut out?
No, the pieces, they needed to be fresh. So this is all after, like with the rest of the placenta, but the pieces that we cut, we put it around. First the arcilla blanca, the what is it called? Silica. Then the salt, a lot of salt, Himalayan salt, and then she's pulling herself up. Okay. Yay. And then the flowers, so that it was wrapped in flowers and oil, and this all in a basket. I had a little basket here in Ibiza. We have these round baskets, or it's actually like it's a bag, so you can actually carry it. I mean, I help. Yeah. So that's what we did.
And how it was done. This is how you kept it close to Lilia until the cord got dry and you cut the cord.
Yes, there is also actually the Lotus birth means that you don't cut the cord, that it falls off from itself. In my case, I cut the cord after 2.5. Was isst du da? After 2.5 days. Okay, yeah, good. Okay. After 2.5 days, it got so dry that I felt it's painful also for her when I moved her, because it was very hard on her navel, and then I felt like, okay, you know what, now it's time to cut it, and then I really like I tuned in with the placenta, I really, I had a moment with the placenta, and it was also really a moment of taking full responsibility for the nurturing of my child, because that's
Felt like
what she did also.
very present for your child in those 2.5 days, and it was maybe even nurturing your child still before you cut the cord.
And that's what happens exactly. Sometimes what they also do in hospitals is that they let all the blood from the navel pump to the baby before they cut the cord. That's something what they do. And it's different. No, I don't want to say they, because it's actually I can just speak from my experience, and this is how it was here in Spain, in Ibiza, on this island. So there might be hospitals in other places that do this and that are more open for it.
I don't know, but I've heard about
I don't know.
Usually, most of my friends gave birth, or when my mother gave birth to me, or whoever, usually they either cut the cord quickly or they wait until it stops pulsing. But I don't know if they wait really long. Probably, I don't know how many hours or moments. I don't know.
Probably depends also on on the moment itself.
So let's go back to the moment where you were like, okay, that all makes sense to me, having a Lotus birth and keeping the placenta connected to my baby after giving birth, and waiting for the cord to fall off. But since you couldn't do it anywhere on Ibiza in a hospital, where did you do it? Where could you do what you wanted to do? Where did you give birth?
Just at home, huh? Yeah, I mean, you can do it also in a yurt or something. There was this other woman that was ready to give me her space for giving birth, but in the end I decided for just being at home and not having to leave the place afterwards and so on. So I had a bath in between of 2 trees, and the option to go inside. It was a very little, it still is a very little casita here on the island, and amongst like neighbors also. And there I gave birth.
So you gave birth in your garden, the garden of your home, in a pool.
I mean, it was my birth was quite long. From losing the plug to really giving birth, it was 36 hours. So it started quite easy, and the pain I could transform in with toning and moving and before and breathing, and then it was always in waves. There were moments when I was outside in the bath, and then moments okay, now I can kind of sleep, so I lay down inside, and then I always switch, like earth, water, earth, water, earth, water. And when it got into this labor, I had a long time that I was inside, actually. And it's a strong experience. There were mantras that I was singing, screaming, whatever you want to call it, and breathing techniques that I always tried. And I also then, after hearing about the Lotus birth, I heard about this whole how do I say this? kind of pain-free birth, I just want to call it, that you transform the energy into sexual energy. That's the only force that is as strong as this force what's going through you as a pain. And so I did. I really made sure. I mean, my midwife said, like, whatever is turning you on, like, do move and try to be in this sensual being and really touch yourself, or like tell your partner to touch you in a way. Or, I mean, in my case, I didn't have my partner there, or didn't have anybody there. It wasn't my partner anymore by that time. So yeah, but I switched it and a few times, and it was really working. I mean, I imagine it all to be painless, pain-free. In my case, it wasn't pain-free. I cannot lie. It was very painful, and it's not that I remember all these this pleasure that I had also in between with that this moment. It was just, I was just happy when I managed to switch the energy to this like energy. So it must have sounded quite funny, like and then kind of funny funny sounds, yeah.
So one can say it's helpful to try out when you are in pain, between the waves of pain, to, I don't know, touch yourself and just give yourself a different kind of connection to your body that helps you to yourself, but also gives you, that connects you to a force that's probably stronger or just as strong as those birth pain waves are. This is
fully they're like, when I would have a partner, I would suggest to just, like, when you are about to have or when you have contractions, then just start lovemaking. Lovemaking is what opens your body the most, and that's what we want, right? I mean, that's what we want, to have an open surrender body that just, even though there are these floods, these waves coming, we just surrender and stay in the body while these waves are coming. Otherwise, it's not possible for the baby to come out. Mm-hmm. And always in connection to the baby. I mean, always, but as much in contact to your baby, and also in compassion for what the baby goes through. That was also a piece that came to me before. There was a moment when I had pre-contractions where I thought, like, I'm gonna give birth soon, and I wasn't really prepared fully. It took another 2 weeks afterwards.
Was it a couple of days before the actual date of birth?
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks before that you had those pre-contractions.
2 weeks, or even more, 3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks. Yeah, and that really helped me. And 1 week afterwards, every moment I thought, oh, I'm gonna give birth soon. I'm gonna give birth soon, because I always had these little contractions going on, and it was just like, wow, okay. All right. But
fear came up, or that it was more like an excitement, or what was this? Oh, all right, I'm gonna give birth soon. What was that? Can you just put that into words?
There were a few things that I didn't that I didn't prepare, and that I wanted to prepare. That's what I said. For example, these flowers and these tinctures and these things that really I felt there was still some fear of giving birth and of really like becoming a mother, and this surrender. And there were just like hidden things that then when she knocked, like, hey, are you ready? Hello, I'm coming soon. Just that, like, but I don't have this. I didn't even have one diaper, or I think I had just one body for her to wear. Or I wasn't the mother that was like, oh yeah, I wish for a baby, and I'm super prepared and I have already everything of this and everything of that, and your room is already ready. No, I wasn't like this.
When you had those contractions 3 weeks and before the actual birth date, that you realized, oh, I think I want to be prepared more, or did you just realize, oh, it's actually gonna happen, I'm gonna be a mom, even though I'm living, I don't know, was it something like that? Or was it just okay, it's gonna happen soon, crazy, wow, maybe everybody has that when once they know, okay, I'm actually gonna give birth soon, wow.
There's like, yeah, for me, I felt it very much like a ritual. I stopped going to the doctor after the 14th week and just relied on my own body. So for me, it was really like surrender to life that is created through you, that runs through you, and that is just like, okay. And for me, being a dancer, working with body consciousness, for me, it's so exciting and incredible to get to know my body so different, and all of a sudden something inside of me, and having the whole time no checkups, no control at all. I was just feeling, okay, now she turned around, and I could feel that the head is lying down. And yeah, this was really like the ultimate surrender to take responsibility for my own life. For me, it was more the decision, because I was prepared to, or we were like sharing about this, like having a child and stuff. So this was really, it was there. We talked about it, but I would never have thought, because I felt him as such a responsible man next to me and so on. And I never thought that I would have a child by myself. And this scared me. It just scared me. I was really preparing the whole time. For me, it was just like birth was for me in the picture. But I never really thought about the after birth.
Okay.
It was really, yes. Like, oh wait, when she's there, then, or she, I didn't even know if it's a she or a he. And yeah, so it was really, I don't know, I didn't even have a diaper changing thing, and I lived in this really small place where there was anyways no space for anything. And it was just a full surrender to what life wants me to experience there. And then I realized, hey, wow, I really get a child. I really get a child. I mean, of course, it's always there. It's always like, oh, my belly. And I enjoyed pregnancy so much. And it was really nice. And in the end, I really felt like, oh, now you can come out, and I'm done. I think you're ready. You can come out now. Which is also a normal thing. I think I also had some guilt feelings first, and then I felt like, yeah, you know what, no, I think this is made by nature for a reason, because Otherwise, I want to be pregnant the whole time, and that doesn't make sense really. So,
A lot of people feel like that at the end of their pregnancy.
yeah, it's normal. I mean, now life goes on, but then you need things for your baby, and I also had I wasn't fully prepared for the tinctures, for the oils, and it felt so like, it was so big somehow. But then when she knocked, and she said like, I'm coming soon. Is there space for me? And then I started like spreading also like children things around, so that I can get used to what it's like when I am a mother, when there is a child in the house. I created a space for her pretty much. And yeah, and this was an emotional ride. I mean, it seems, or it sounds very easy. I just put a baby bed and I put this and I put that, but it's not. For me it wasn't really easy to create this space in my life to really say, all right, okay, then
Being you and me from now on, or
I made room for being together now for the rest of my life, or kind of in a sense, in a way, it is that, right? And it's a big thing to become a mother, and it's the most normal thing on earth. There's so many mothers, and you just realize that. I think when you become a mother, it's incredible. It's wow. I never thought it's so big. And the internal transformation, life makes you ready. I mean, I'm a person, I always like to say yes and not no. And I like to flow, and I like to be spontaneous, and I like to dance and have space. And then there's a being coming into your life. But I mean, now I would say always remember, your baby comes to your life. And yes, it's about creating evolution also, and see what's das. Gib mir das mal bitte. Okay, nimm mal das hier. And I mean, it life always provides you with what you need, right? So there's things that come to light when a baby is coming, and then there's no hiding because she's so close, or the baby is so close. You cannot hide.
How after you realized through all this wisdom that you got from Christina, your midwife, that you want to go this path, that this feels right for you, and that it totally makes sense to take care of the forgotten chakra, your placenta, of this wise organ, and to have a soft landing for your daughter. In that way, it all made so much sense to you, so you decided to go that path. When did you decide to not go to the doctor anymore? Was that at the same time when you met your midwife, or was that before that? Because you said you didn't. When was the point where you're like, okay, 14th week, and now I feel like I'm not gonna go see a doctor anymore. I'm gonna go intuitive and just feel myself and surrender to this. Was it just practical because the doctor was in Germany and you were on Ibiza, or was it also because you thought, was it something else that made you not go there anymore, not look for another doctor on Ibiza?
So I went to the doctor a few times. I had ultrasounds as well, 2 times. One when it was really a little tiny egg, just to check if it's in the right place. And once in the 14th week, which you usually don't, because there's in the 12th or something, there's a check what they normally do. Or however, I missed that check, and then I went on the 14th week, and I wanted to do the blood test. That was important for me. And then I went to the last time when I was at this blood test in Germany, and the doctor, they asked me so many questions. Do you want this check? Do you want that check? Do you want this check? Or and it stayed with me, that one check that you do to check if your child is disabled. I don't know what it's called in English, however.
Is it Down syndrome or
Fruchtblasenuntersuchung, you know, the I don't know. Yeah, this stayed with me, and I was like, okay, wow. I thought about it so many times. Also, my family said something that really then, yeah, if you can control this, then of course, you know, like you do this. And I'm like, wow, no. And then I felt a little bit like, why should life put a baby that is disabled inside of me? And if so, what would it change? Like, what if life I mean, I'm in surrender mode. If life wants me to have a disabled baby, then I have a disabled baby, and that's it. I mean, I really felt this, like, this baby is a physical form of all my decisions that I did before. Yeah, it is life itself. I mean, that's it. And I'm a healthy woman, and I felt like, no, I'm not gonna check anything, and I don't want to have any more thoughts even about, like, this just creates fear. In the moment when I feel fear, my baby feels fear. Why should I stress out me and my baby and not just rely on myself, rely on my feeling? And like this, I mean, everybody has to know that for themselves, and there are other people that can just say, oh, okay, this I take and this I don't. I'm a person, I'm influential. I feel I double check everything. I take it first in, and then I digest it through, and so on. And in this moment I was so super sensitive that I felt like, no, I'm just gonna avoid this for myself and for my baby, and I just trust life. There's so much more that give birth somewhere, in the rainforest, in the desert, wherever, just like that. I heard something of a woman in Africa giving birth by herself. She just pushed herself against the wall and then tells the baby to come out now. So come out now, okay. And then she holds her baby in the arms. That story really, that carried me through. I always came back to it because it gave me so much power. It's like, of course there are so many women that give birth just somewhere. Why should I be so afraid of when it's not fully controlled? But you know what, this also, I also believe that everybody has their own experience. So it's, for one person that is the right way, for the other person it's not. Yeah. It's important that it's controlled, and or that you give birth in the hospital, or that you give birth on the mountain, wherever, I don't know. You know, you can give birth wherever you think it's right. And I think your baby knows already where I always want to say she, because I say always she, the soul in German is a woman. So she knows.
Nice to tell people that you can think like that. I just love how you say, you can decide where you want to give birth, and you can decide and listen to your baby where it wants to be born. That's just thinking like that is so nice. And I don't know, maybe somebody who listens to this right now can be like, oh, true. Yeah, I can decide. Okay, what do I decide now that I can, or that I maybe want to imagine that I that I really can decide. Yeah. That's
Please. I mean, that is really, it's your body. It's your body. And this being is created in your body. Some divine spark put a being inside of you. And it's like, wow. For me, this was always like, okay, so just someone else decides who's inside of me now. And for the rest of my life with me. That is such an intelligence. It's incredible. Like existence itself. It's wow. Okay. And then and then you have your baby and you see your baby, and it's like an arm. It's like just it's like your arm, or it doesn't even smell different, or feels like that there's another person in the room. I mean, that starts later when they start. They start, I want this. And this little ego is like, little big one. But well, no, but then they say also in the first 3 years, when it's not the primal needs of like food, sleep, or diaper changing, it's always something inside of you or something in the room. So I would recommend to do like a disconnect with your arm, like disconnect from your baby. And always, like when there's like a screaming attack or something, or whatever it is, like some uncomfortable feelings, most of the time it's hardcore screaming, and you hear it in your ear. I realize it's louder. I can hear it louder. It's triggering. It's a triggering scream. Then you know, okay, I just breathe in this whole scream. What did I not see? What is it? What should I see now?
So when you're triggered by your baby scream, that means that there's something inside of you that made the baby scream so much that the baby unconsciously, or maybe even consciously, feels that is in the room with its mom or with its parent.
Yeah, it's an unexpressed anger, or it's something that exactly that you weren't honest to yourself with.
So maybe you didn't
sometimes,
but the baby feels it for you now.
Exactly, the baby mirrors you.
Yeah.
The baby is a mirror of yourself, and just shows like she would feel this anger in the room, and she would be angry, or she would be sad, or she would be something. I mean, when she's very little, then you cannot really distinguish that well. I couldn't, I don't know. So she would just scream loud, and it's like, okay, what is it? And then first I tried to like calm her down somehow and do something on her, but it's not her. In the moment when I started crying, when I started reflecting, like, oh yeah, true. And I went inside and I just held her. I was just present, or I am just present with her then in moments like this. And I let her scream and put the attention that I give her in this moment. I pull it back to me inside in my heart, and then I just like this scream, it brings it up immediately. That's how I experience it. I mean, yeah,
nice.
that's yeah, it's
And that's
it's
the
important
story
to.
about how you can handle your child after birth.
Well,
Yeah,
that's episode 2.
cool. Yeah, I really, really, really. If you don't want to say anything anymore, I can just say I really, really honor all this knowledge and your story, and I'm really, really happy you share that because for me, even before I became pregnant, I loved listening to everything you said. To be honest, I still don't get together how many tinctures and stuff you got, but maybe I'll just re-listen to it and write it in the show notes about the 4 things you did and the globally and stuff. And
but this is something. This is
everybody,
something you can. That is something that you choose as a mother. You know, it's not the recipe for everybody.
yes.
I mean, I would recommend to have globally of your baby of your baby's placenta, and to eat it is also very that is for the reproduction of your body, recreation of your body, very important. Or what it means important, it's easier, you know, then you come back to life easier.
What's your body after birth with power to eat that?
My body after birth, it's magical when in the moment when you breastfeed. I in the beginning always had pain in my uterus, and immediately I was thirsty, so I always had my glass of water. So she's sleeping. Look.
Oh.
Concerning the Lotus birth, from my experience, I met also other babies that are born like this, and I feel them very soft somehow. It's really this soft landing, and it was incredible in the beginning when she was sleeping there with her placenta. I mean, I heard a lot about, as close as possible to your body, and as much skin and contact and so on. But that wasn't needed at all for her. Like, she was happy. She would stop scream when I would put her down, and she just laid there with both arms wide open, hands open. This means trust, full trust. Next to her, I put the placenta, and then I made a little surround her with this little star and things that I had for her, and created a little space for her. And she was happy. She was immediately sleeping a lot at night, and she smiled from the very beginning, that she was sleeping, and then she had these moments of smiles and all these emotions going on in her.
When I saw the first picture, she's like, very first picture you sent to us. Oh.
Yeah, it's incredible. She didn't have any stress. She was born at home. I mean, of course, the birth was stress for her as well, but she was born at home and she stayed there. And then she was still with her placenta, and I can really feel now when I compare her to others, which I don't like to do, but it's when I see her next to other children. Let's keep it in these words. I feel her so much in her body. She's so present. She's like, oh, I'm here. And I was on this birthday party, 1-year-old birthday party. There were, I don't know, 50 children. So 50? Many children. Wow. Probably 40 or 30, I don't know, but a lot.
1-year-old. Very 1-year-old had a lot of fun.
Yeah, the mother was this English woman who was like full on with these balloons and nice dress, and she was in this tulle skirt, and I don't know. However, she was not like at all shy or anything. She was just there. She went, and when I saw other babies in her age, I felt like, what? They're this old. And I'm like, okay. And they were fully overwhelmed. And I mean, it's also, I don't want to say it's because of the Lotus birth, but for me, there's something about it that is so, it causes less pain for them. That for me is clear. And she didn't scream also so loud when she came out, or there was not, she's a very satisfied baby. And when I say this about the screaming loud, it wasn't that often. It wasn't really that often. And it always stopped in a second when I reflected. And it was never too much that I could not handle it. You don't get anything of life that you cannot handle. That's, for me, this is clear. And maybe sometimes you think you cannot handle it, but you can. And it's really, yeah, it's an incredible, beautiful, powerful baby. And
would you also say that you got empowered by making your decisions and by having a birth like that, and by the birth?
Yes,
as a woman.
So much. Yes. I really went back also. I had baby blessings, but with like a women's circle where we were singing. I was the one who was deciding, and they gave me a massage, and I put flowers on me and on my belly, and we sang songs and called in a different direction, the shamanic way. There were beautiful, strong women from all kind of ways of spirituality, I want to say, and this combined, just their presence to right to sit present for me, honoring me as a mother, life giver, caretaker, that creates so much beauty and safety for me also. I mean, within a few months of not having anybody here, there were beautiful, strong women showed up, and they are with me now. And I mean, yeah, they're still there, and they really support me so much that I could do this, that I was able to really go for it and feel safe to give birth at home amongst women. My mother was also there. For her, it was also a big step to do this by our own, like that. She was really
to a hospital or an institutional birth place, but to just do it at home.
She was standing in the kitchen while I was grabbing to a tree, and my bum was towards her, and she could literally see how Lilia was coming out of me and how she fell into the water. And of course there was you don't know if the cord is around her neck or whatever, there are things. She was crying and she was afraid, and it was like, but everything is fine, and it's a girl. She wanted a girl to put nice dresses in. And
I remember.
I always said it's a what?
I remember how you told me that your mom bought dresses.
Yeah.
So you all didn't know what's gonna be. Yeah.
So it's a very soft, gentle landing nature does it all by itself. It's normal in Bali, for example. They have all these rituals that I really like that ritual. That's what I want to do still. They keep the placenta and dig it in the ground. They do, and in the moment when she goes into adulthood, can I say that? Yes. Yeah, adulthood. Then they hand it over with the words, "I took care of your soul that long, but now you are in charge to take care of your soul by yourself." So they hand over the placenta with these words that it's her soul, and this is so beautiful. I love that. I want to do this because I really feel that I was missing that in my pregnancy. I felt that I really, this whole really taking responsibility now. I had no father, so I had no father for my child, so that was, of course, for my family still. So they were still very protective above me, but there's no way that I can step into my responsibility when they're still in my responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I had to really forcefully no, I stay here and I'm on my own and do this all by myself.
I'm not gonna live with
you. Even though it's not that energy. What?
It's like you didn't want to live close to your parents. You wanted to live on Ibiza and be your own, take care of yourself and of your child without somebody else also looking over you, kind of.
I want the experience that I really want the experience of taking responsibility for myself, to know that for myself.
Yes.
Some people are able to do this next to their parents and they respect this, and it's fine, it's aligned. But for me, it was very important that I know this, because I doubt on myself. I have issues in self-love and so on. So I really needed to know that I'm that was the full surrender to the unknown, jumping upside down from a cliff, and really, okay, now I'm not with this man anymore, where I thought I'm super held and super grounded and whatever. Okay, let me do this. Now I get a child. I'm used to move, I'm used to cut from jobs and switch to whatever, and I'm really taking big steps, but that is the biggest step, to say no to be with the man anymore and really say yes to the child. It was also he said in the beginning, he wanted me to get an abortion as well and so on. So there were things in the beginning that was really triggering and hard for me. His opinion, he's also part of this whole event, but this I couldn't do. I was really like this. No, I cannot. This is just because this is something you decide when you make the child, when we come together and we have sex and create a child. In this moment or moments before, you should be clear about this, and not afterwards, especially not when, or never actually, I want to say now, especially not when you're spiritual being we are all, when you're on the spiritual path and you're all about the divine, or you talk about it, and then when life tests you, you say oh no, but now we cut life off. No, wait, that for me doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That's why I also had to say no. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that that I'm blessed with a child inside of me. This is a blessing that there's no other nothing compatible for me. That's because life and the divine acknowledges you that you are capable of having a child and of taking care of another being, that you are capable of that, and that was really honoring, and or that is really honoring, really. Wow. Yes. And I want to treat this like with respect and with yeah, so many times my ego were like, but I want this and I want that and I want, yeah, no. Also, there's now a jump. This the whole flow when you get a child is different for me, because you have the things on your mind what you want to do or want to achieve on this day, and oh, but I want this and I have to do this, and no, now we do this, and you can do everything, but the flow is with the energy of the child, with your child. Sometimes you have to let go, like, okay, especially when these forceful thoughts are there. It can be 1 second after when you let it go. When you let these thoughts go, okay, no, surrender. Okay, whatever you feel, like, okay, surrender. And then you let this energy flow and surrender again. And then it can flow this direction. But really, this whole like, okay, now we do this and we do that, and forget about it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I will see, but yeah.
Yeah, you will see. Yeah, we didn't mention that actually. I think in the beginning that you are pregnant, so it's quite interesting. I find that you were also before, right? You asked me already before you knew that you were pregnant. You were very interested in this. As soon as I told you about it, you were like, what? Let's talk about this. let's do about this. Yeah, really sweet.
Alternative way. I love to discover what's also possible in the world besides all the things I already knew. I love that. And I really want to spread all those possibilities to the world so other people can get to know about it as well. Yeah.
That's really nice. I really like that. And I was really immediately like, oh yes, let's talk about it. People should know that there's like a harm-free way of landing for these beautiful beings if they choose to.
Yeah, even consider what is normal in hospitals to maybe call it harmful. I mean, before that I wasn't even thinking about alternatives, and now I'm learning that there are alternatives of thinking about how you want to birth and how, or give birth, or how it's been done, if that's really something you can just say yes to, or if that's something you can rethink or think about in a different way. Yeah, sometimes you have to be reminded to think more more closely. I at least have to. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing this very, very intimate and private and close to your heart story with us. Thank you so much for your time, and for Lilia's time, and for being generous with your story to give it to the world.
People know.
In your contact in the show notes, and people can always contact you when they have questions or when they want to hear more, or when you
Yeah,
guys
please.
have another podcast about it, about something specific.
Yeah, please, everybody out there, if there's something that I haven't talked about, I know we jumped also from one to the other side, and if there's something you like to clarify for yourself or like to know, or maybe some information, there's so much more, this big ritual of giving birth, and I'm here. Yeah, letting you know whatever I know. Yeah, much love.
Much love.
All of you.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna bring my baby to bed now.
Yeah,
Ciao.
to an actual bed.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just contact us and I'll give you all the contacts and information for that here in the show notes. Take care and see you again the next time. Bye bye. Lots of love.